Hi, friends. My name's host Eric. I'm the host talking to people. I'm here with the arch admin herself, Susie of Norway, as they call her. Sometimes they call her Norwegian Susie or Norwegian Sue. That's her official name. It's on her birth certificate. You can see it yourself if you visit Norway and visit the Museum of Birth Certificates. Hers is in a glass case right near the front. Susie of Norway or Norwegian Sue, they call her. Anyway, all that notwithstanding, Susie is not an example of what I'm talking about. Susie is the counterexample. Every once in a while, you get somebody who comes in and they actually are a female INTP. Every once in a while. You don't get a lot of them, but you do get a few. We got Luna. We got Luna hanging out in Hong Kong, being a 100% genuine female INTP. And we got Susie in Norway. We got two continents covered if you consider Hong Kong a very small continent. Anyway, again, all that notwithstanding, in general, a lot of people who come in and believe themselves to be INTPs are actually INFPs. And that's a very common phenomenon. And the thing about that is, first of all, let me just make this abundantly clear. There's nothing wrong with being an INFP, okay? There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I have known multiple INFPs, many of whom were delightful people. They can be very kind, nice, sweet people. They are interesting. They've got lots of artistic ideas. They are engaging and offer a variety of FI that can be very powerful. There's lots of good things about being an INFP or about having an INFP. However, for some don't want to be INFPs. And they don't want to be SFPs in general either. They don't want to be ISFP and they don't want to be ESFP. But some people are ESFPs and some people are INFPs. And the reason that I disabuse people um, of their misconceptions regarding that is there's a tendency in typology to want to keep everything all positive and hunky dory and, well, if you prefer this and you prefer that, then that's all fine and dandy. But from my perspective, it's not all fine and dandy at all. If you prefer this or if you prefer that is not going to work for typology because the configuration is as it is for a specific reason. The reason that if you are an extroverted intuitor in the dominant function necessarily means that you are a seeker in terms of introverted sensing. It's implicit to the nature of what the functions are, what they do, how they manifest according to the fault lines of attentional domains and the exclusivity between those and or the proportionality or inverse proportionality of them. In other words, to the extent that I prioritize, for example, subjective knowledge, then I am going to be, if I fully prioritize that and it's my nature to be subjective knowledge, I'm going to be insecure about objective knowledge. Similarly, if my nature is extrovert intuition, I'm going to be insecure about acting in the physical world because I'm most by nature, acting in the metaphysical world. If my nature as an INTP is introverted thinking, I'm going to be insecure about introverted feeling in the eighth slot. So these sort of relational qualities to the cognitive functions are what makes the model effective. It's the engine of the taxonomy. It's the distinction that is naturally there occurring in the landscape that makes the map meaningful. In other words, the reason why the valley is different than the hill is because they define each other by their relationship to each other. The valley is lower than the hill. The hill is higher than the valley. The hill is a hump that goes up and the valley is a hump that goes down. And you can't say, well, what if there was nothing but hills? Well, then you wouldn't have any hills. You just have a flat land because there'd be no valleys. You can't have hills without valleys. In the same fashion is it so with cognitive functions that they relate to one another in like regard. So when people come in and say, I'm an INTP, will you type me? And it becomes pretty clear that they're not an INTP and they don't get conditional logic very well, and that they're, but that they value highly their own status as a rational being. They don't want to consider themselves not an intellectual or not smart. The biggest problem is there exists in society a bullshit notion called being smart that fails to account for the nature of intelligence. And I talked about this yesterday, and I answered this question for Garrett, I think it was, about intelligence tests. How meaningful are they, or what do their results mean? And the answer is they're not meaningful at all, because to the extent that they're effective and meaningful, then they're very narrow in their scope, because people have wildly different capabilities on even slight differentiations of manner of thought. So even with NTI, I might be really good at certain kinds of analogical reasoning problems, and I might not be that great at certain kinds of straight up conditionality processing problems that require me to process a lot of conditionality elements and manage that sort of the mechanics of thinking over a longer haul than I typically like to do. There are strengths and limits to each of my manners of attention, and it exists that way because my manners of attention have been constructed over time, both in accordance with the definitional necessity of the manner of attention, in other words, the hilliness of hills, but also in accordance with the specifics of this piece of landscape here, what kind of rock it is, what kind of plants there are, all that other kind of shit. So what ends up happening is my extroverted intuition and introverted thinking dominant interface pair, or dominant manifestation pair, then that is going to become very strong in certain narrow areas within the larger purview of NETI, and less strong in other areas within the larger purview. So it's necessarily the case then, if you're talking about how smart somebody is, that you're using a broad umbrella term that will include some things that you might think are important in being smart that the person is strong at, and some things that you might think are important as being smart that the person is weak at. So I'm going to pause now for a second and see if Susie has anything to say, if she sees any comments anywhere or other sort of stuff like that. I see something in the chat. Oh, that's the...
Oh, that was just the thumbnail.
Okay. Okay, so...
Well,
what to do...
I just had a thought, because that thing is likely to happen, especially if someone enters this community. And I think a reason why that is happening is because people come here to see the different types and interact with them. And if you just ignore the fact that they're a different type, some people will be misinformed. Oh, so that's what an INTP looks like. No, that's an SE-DOM.
Right.
Yo, is this where they talk about the NFL?
No, we don't talk a whole lot about the NFL.
And what do you talk about?
Personality typing stuff primarily, or at least that's what we're talking about today.
Yeah, my personality is very good. It's a very good. I'm very approachable guy.
All right, you wanna kick this person, Susie?
Don't kick
I don't know.
Why?
No.
You don't know yet? Okay, well you can
You
let
want
him.
to kick me?
You
But
can-
why you want to kick me?
You can let him troll if you want, but you should
I'm
go.
a troller. I'm here to talk with other people. I like social interaction.
Yeah, go
That's
ahead.
cool.
Kick him.
Okay, bye.
Why would you do that?
Because I don't feel like dealing with that shit. It's like I gotta deal with that stuff.
It's so much easier when I do it, right?
Well, I gotta deal with it at work. I don't need to deal with it here. I gotta deal with Alan.
I was just a guy in need. I was a friend in need. I wanted to talk to people, but you kicked me out. I feel very hurt.
Yeah.
You feel very hot?
Yeah. So how is your day going?
Did you come in from YouTube?
I'm a subscriber.
You what?
I'm a subscriber.
You're a subscriber. Eric, do you
Yeah.
want to deal with your subscriber?
No, I suggest we just kick my subscriber. I think he's. You know what, subscriber? I'm concerned that you're not entirely serious. And I only deal with people who are entirely serious. You got to be serious as a heart
So
attack.
what if I'm like 99.9% serious? So you still don't want to deal with me? So you want only the 100%? I'm
Only-
like the 99.9%
Yeah,
serious.
we're done with that. If you would like to contribute to the conversation, that's fine. But if you're just gonna keep doing that, I'll kick you.
I will mute myself.
Okay.
all right. So this is part of the fun and exciting adventure of talking with famous people. I I don't in general get a whole lot of trolls around here because it kind of is an environment that is good at getting rid of them, and they don't get a lot of payoff. I guess I'd say in general. I don't know exactly what trolls are looking for, but it depends on the troll. Some of them get more payoff than others. Demon Windu certainly has gotten plenty of payoff as I've responded to him in a few videos and stuff like that. But anyhow, I would anticipate that this person here, this troll, is definitely my initial guess is NTP. He just sounds like young NTP the way he's quick with a banner, and the way he's quick with changing shit. But that's just my guess.
So you say I am a troll?
I wasn't talking to you, homie. I thought you were gonna mute
Okay.
yourself.
Okay, I thought you were insulting me saying I was a troll. I felt very harmed by that. But it's okay. It's okay. If you want telling me I was troll, then I'm fine with it. Cause I came here to talk to the other people.
Okay, but why don't you just go ahead and remute yourself there, and I'll continue explaining. So, anyway, my initial typing is, of course, very flimsy. Doesn't have a lot of weight. I wouldn't put a lot of weight on any initial typing. But here's another example of somebody who came in here determined to be an INTP. Bo. There's not a single shred of Bo that is introverted or INTP or fourth slot FE or anything like that. He is an ENTP. He's an ENTP with unusually weak TI, I would say. Although, well, I mean, what do you make of Bo?
Hey, what does ENTP mean and MT?
I will answer your question. Okay. So those Myers-Briggs letters refer to E refers to extrovert, introverted, N refers to introverted sensory.
Oh yeah, introvert. I'm more of an introvert. I like to keep to myself, and then
Again,
when I'm told to socialize, I just go on a peer on it, and then I socialize.
You had to do it yourself.
yeah, I could. I didn't know I could.
Didn't know you could. Everyone can.
I didn't. I wasn't thinking. So I was on Kimberly's computer. I didn't realize that I
And
could.
that was not very nice.
This is the problem that trolls have here is that it's easy to police them in that fashion. We can lock it, as Susie just did, and prevent him from re-entering. At any rate, so what do you think about Bo, Susie?
I don't. I haven't
since
seen
he's
that
an
much of him.
INTP.
Oh, he's not an INTP.
No, he's not. Definitely not. And this kid here is probably ENTP, could be like STP in theory. I
Some
don't know.
extrovert.
Some
No.
kind of extrovert for sure. And probably about 12, 11 years old.
And half.
11, 12, 13. Something in there. Middle schooler. Might be a student or a former student, but probably not, actually. I wonder, Kimberly's back from, hey, Nick's here. I'm ready for Nick.
Yo.
What's going on, Nicholas?
Trying to get stuff done.
Do people sometimes call you Nicholas the Pickleless?
All the time.
That's not surprising. If your name's Nicholas, that's what rhymes with it, so it makes sense. That's what people would call you.
Yeah. Anyway, people who wants to be a certain type. Nick, do you have anything to say about that?
Oh yeah, people who want to be a type other than they actually are.
Well, I have more of an experience of people wanting me to be a different type than I am.
Yeah, people want Nick to be an ENFJ, but Nick is not an ENFJ. He's an ENTP because his TI is just too strong for an ENFJ. I'll sit there and go back and forth with him, and he'll try to pin me down and fucking parse shit out and nail me on something or other all the time.
Oh, and in latest news, I'm an INTJ.
Oh, you're an INTJ now, according to whom?
Neptune and Pepsi.
I don't know Betsy.
Pepsi? You know Pepsi.
Oh, Pepsi. I thought you said Betsy. We need some Betsies around here. We need a few Betsies.
And we need to be ISFJs.
They can be ISTJs if they want. I don't know. Susie, you're an INTP. You are not an INTJ. It's so abundantly obvious that it's insane that anybody would make a claim that you're an INTJ.
But I don't have any.
People don't understand that INTPs who use any of the tool function deal with shit displayed very differently than ENTPs who use TI as a tool function. We display totally differently.
But what if I want to be an INTJ?
You're still not an INTJ. Even if Nick wants to be an
FJ.
He's still not an ENFJ. Even if Steve wants to be an INFJ, he's still not an INFJ.
But my FE is, I have FE though.
Yes, you do, Nick. You've got third slot FE coming out your third slot, swinging around the room, slapping people in the face. Yeah. Where a third slot FE, that's how a third slot FE does. It comes prodding out the third slot, swinging around the room, slapping people in the face.
We saw a guy like that on a movie. Fall out his ass.
Right. So, you know,
Eric,
Nick,
you're my favorite YouTuber.
Thanks, Nick. That makes me feel really good. That's good FE. I like that. It's juicy. I keep trying to get Kimberly to give me some of that third slot FE.
I did yesterday.
You did?
I've unsubscribed to every YouTuber except you.
Wow.
Just so I could keep it clear for your videos to be noticed.
That's good news, Nick. That's important. Thank you for telling me that. Boy, Kimberly and I have been living a life of hard labor the last couple of days. We've been sleeping, we've been eating. Whew, it's been tough. We're really, this is one of the more luxuriant sleepy weeks of my life. I'm just luxuriating in the luxuriousness of it.
I want to have a sleepy week with Jewel.
It's so sweet.
It sounds phenomenal.
You make toast and jelly and bread and butter?
It's in the oven.
Oh,
I did a sleepy week kind of at the Strauss.
Yeah, I got to experience a little bit of it.
The Strauss house.
Yep, you did. Experienced some of it. I mean, but right now, here's the thing. We got in the mix now. You're not going to believe it. You're going to see it, but you're not going to get to fully experience it. What we got in the mix is some homemade bread with some butter and some jelly on it. It's toasted in the toaster oven. It's going to be hot. It's going to be crunchy. It's going to be delicious beyond all belief. It's going to take me right back to childhood. The last 2 times I've eaten this here have literally been spiritual experiences
Oh,
of restorative transformation, whereby I'm transported back to childhood, and my mom is handing me the same exact bread that tastes exactly the same, and it's just, oh my god, it's so good. Is it ready? You think?
No.
Not ready yet.
I was reading Hunter S. Thompson's letters to Lyndon B. Johnson for the what was it? He was governor of American Samoa. American Samoa. That's what he was applying for. And like he did this all the time. He wrote people for jobs, and I do the same thing except with videos and stuff. And there's been multiple times where I get pissed off and say, "Never mind, fuck you guys." And he did that to Lyndon B. Johnson. He wrote a couple of them. He wrote a couple letters, and then he said after the he got too disgusted with American policy of Johnson. Will this bore you if I read this real quick?
Go ahead, read it.
All right.
Not exactly on topic, but that's okay. Go ahead, Nick. We're going to be down here. Topic is
spew your FE.
Topic is a matter of go ahead.
This is to inform you that I have reconsidered my application for the governorship of American Samoa and wish to avoid it at once. After watching your foreign policy develop over the course of the past few months, I've decided I could not, in good conscience, serve your administration in any way. Nor would I feel physically safe representing this nation outside our own borders. I refer specifically to your hysterical Vietnam policy, which has put the United States in a position very much resembling Nazi Germany's in the Spanish Civil War. I'm neither a pacifist nor an advocate of nonviolence, but my sensibilities are grossly offended by the spectacle of a small group of old men whose mania for blood and bombing will inevitably cause thousands of young men to be killed for no good reason. As a white Anglo-Saxon Air Force veteran and shooting enthusiast, I can't be shrugged off as a politically impotent East Coast minority group liberal beatnik draft dodger. Nor am I totally ignorant of foreign affairs. In 1962 through 1963, I was South American correspondent for the National Observer and spent more time defending this country in arguments than I did earning a living. God knows I would hate to be down there now trying to explain and or justify our Vietnam policy. So let's simply quit. Call a spade and admit this, that we overextended ourselves, and stop trying to peddle this balderdash about the menace of Red China. They're not going to bomb or invade us. Russia hasn't, and they've had nuclear weapons for nearly 20 years, and I don't think I need to explain why. If, however, you are still goaded by your advisors to an all or nothing choice, I would have to stick with total withdrawal. I say this to emphasize that I have not in any way come around to your own point of view, but as a reasonably intelligent being, I think I have the sense to see that a controlled compromise is better than total loss. I am not at all confident that you feel the same way, but the least I can do is write a 5-cent letter and hope it will have some effect. You can probably disregard all the letters, including any from Galvin, Ridgway, and Littman, without endangering your position for 1968. But you will have hell on your hands keeping the door open for Humphrey in 1972, and then by every one of today's draftees will be voting. I suppose this comes under the heading of a dissenting letter, and I understand you turn all of these letters over to the FBI. But if wanting to avoid an Asian war makes me a subversive, then you have my address and you can put me in the file with Eisenhower and MacArthur.
What a beast.
Right.
Oh, he's so beast mode. You got to read that with a certain tone, though, Nick.
Have you heard the letter to thing is, everybody thinks he's an ENFP, but I just don't see it.
Who thinks he's an ENFP?
You look it up online, and it's like, I guess, I don't know. I guess because it's FI, they think, or something.
CP for sure.
Right.
Who?
He's a textbook. There's nothing in about that guy.
So this is what he wrote to the guy that wrote Clockwork Orange. Dear Mr. Burgess, Vern Warner has forwarded your useless letter from Rome to the National Affairs Desk for my examination or reply. I can't do Hunter S. Thompson. Unfortunately, we have no international gibberish desk. If we would have ended up there. What kind of lame, half-mad bullshit are you trying to sneak over on us? When the Rolling Stone asked for a think piece, God damn it, we want a fucking think piece. And don't try and weasel out with any of your limey bullshit about a 50,000-word novella about the conditions humane, etc. You take us for a gang of brainless lizards, rich hoodlums, dilettante thugs, you lazy cocksucker. I want that think piece on my desk by Labor Day, and I want it ready for press. The time has come and gone when cheap jack scum like you get away with kind of scams you get rich from in the past. Get your worthless ass out of the piazza and back to the typewriter. Your type is a dime a dozen around here, Burgess, and I'm fucked if I'm going to stand for it any longer.
What an asshole. Well, Susie, I think we can end this video, this live stream here.
Sorry, I'm
But
sorry.
we
I'm
didn't.
sorry.
Not much was said
Where's
on the topic
Kimberly
though.
anyway?
The only
I
example.
gotta go do stuff with Kimberly.
Okay, go do stuff.
Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Oh wait, no. Before we leave, Susie, you stopped it already?
No.
No. Before we leave, I'm gonna show you the experience of a lifetime. You're gonna get to experience this with me. We're having some toast. It's got butter on it, and it's got jelly on it. Now, I wouldn't normally waste your time watching me eat toasted butter and jelly. I want to know if you can see just how good this shit is, because it's really one of the most meaningful food experiences of my entire life. And it's just so good that I want to share the goodness with everybody. Kimberly! Let me go get some. Let me go get it. I heard it. Dang, it's done. I heard it. Dang.
Oh my god, food is ready. But guys, something on people who wants to be a type they're not.
Your type doesn't define you.
You define your type.
No, you don't do that either, I guess, is what the whole point of it is.
My type defines me. I refuse to do anything that's not ENTP.
Okay, so everyone is initially ENTP until proven otherwise.
No. I refuse to do anything that other people don't identify as ENTP. That's why I'm constantly dancing around and being wacky and
Oh, there we have the new trick for Kimberly. If you do something she doesn't like, she can say, ah, that's not ENTP.
you can say, stop acting like an ESTP.
I want to act like an ESTP for a little bit.
Me too.
So then you want to do things that are not ENTP.
Yeah, like I want to get shit done. Like if Hunter S. Thompson's letters terrify me because he was just writing to all these types of that was a type of genius that never got to really fully maximize on his genius.
Okay, look at this. Look at that. Let's see. This is homemade bread from Jen next door.
My mom makes homemade bread. Well, used to. She grinded her own grain and everything.
What?
Mom used to make her homemade bread. She'd get millet and
grinding your own grain is hardcore.
Yeah, I mean, she had a mill like some crazy shit.
Like huge round rocks?
No, it was like it's not that hardcore, you know. It's 21st century grain grinding.
You know, it doesn't taste the same, Nick. It doesn't taste the same if you don't use huge round rocks to grind your grain.
I'll tell her that.
Mm.
There you have Christmas present idea for your mom.
Here's some huge round rocks. You got them wrapped in wrapping paper under the tree. Mom's like goes to try to pick it up. Like 700 pounds. Oh,
Maybe she wants a windmill.
yeah, Dad. Have a whole windmill under the tree. Just got a hole in the roof, but
Just place it in the yard and somewhere she won't see.
mm.
There's a you gotta sometime next for my next Hunter S. Thompson reading. I'm not gonna do it today or probably even tomorrow. But I'm gonna read his letter to the Sun, the Vancouver Sun. It was brilliant. Before I meet you, I'll tell you I'm an arrogant asshole and kind of like leave there no be surprises. Sort of thing. He's crazy. He did the same thing like that you do with your YouTube videos, where he keeps, and then I do with my old phone calls and stuff, where he kept all of them like locked up, like a copy of every single letter that he wrote. So you have like a record of his everything he created. How about shit SI? Look at that.
You have to move to your SI.
You have to what?
Move to your SI.
Find your duel.
It's happening. It's happening. I applied to like 20 jobs today. Probably gonna accept this one though. Shitty software company. We just need to attract some like ISTPs and ISTJs and maybe a young ENTJ and young ESTPs. Oh, a little older ESTPs. So I can have like the proper people to start a business with.
We just need somebody to make this bread all day long.
The mouthgasming.
This is the best food in history right here.
I don't get the same thing from it.
Have you ever taken the Big Five test, Eric? It has merit.
Yeah.
I didn't eat her. Lactose, Tom.
I feel like I'm full.
Right?
I mean, is it possible to be full of that?
Yeah, it was like a whole
Rarely.
You will get hungry again fast.
Very fast. You actually want more than you just consume.
Bread and butter and jelly won't last, is that what you're saying?
well, that's why yesterday.
You could just have like a 12-hour stream of you eating that non-stop.
Just going,
Sure, that's well
What's-
said.
What's
So-
the status of the tree?
The tree?
The goddamn bastard. Yeah. Get back.
Oh, it still has all its berries. It defeated me.
Some
So much
guy
energy
found
and
over on
effort.
here now from YouTube.
Hmm?
We have an actual new person.
Hmm. Hi there.
Okay.
Now I have to go back.
Bye.
Bye. All right.
Why are you leaving?
Well, Kimberly and I have to get a couple things done today. We got
Like what?
well, we have to go to the Humane Society to schedule an appointment for our cat to get spayed. It's
Why
been
not?
on the list for a long time, and we haven't gotten around to it for a long time.
You can't
Have you
just
been
go to the
getting
vet.
this animal proper nurturing and love? You've been prospering and
Yeah, the animals are great, but the reason, Susie, is because the vet costs like another $100 more than the Humane Society.
Eric, I was unmuting my microphone and I and I kicked and I kicked the guy without warning. I'm sorry.
Oh, he kicked the
You
guy.
kick that guy? Oh, well.
Did you kick out too?
What? Who did that? Oh, nobody
God.
kicked anyone. He just left.
No, I think he just left. Oh well, boom.
Oh, he's back maybe. Oh, hi.
Yeah, I accidentally just left. I was using this wet wipe to clean the laptop and by accident.
I'm being honest, I kicked him accidentally. I
Okay,
don't kick people. When
good to know.
people kick me, I get triggered. I avoid kicking people.
You get triggered like because once when you were a child, somebody kicked you in a video conference room. All right, I gotta go. I gotta go because Kimberly and I have to do shit for real.
Okay, say bye to the people.
Bye to the people. Bye, people. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese. I know we got a little off topic, but don't you worry. Next time I'm gonna do a better job of staying on topic. I promise. Ish.
You should have just hushed me.
It's fine. I had nothing else to say anyway.
Bye, people.